Well, if you're a fan of Nollywood, you definitely know my next guest. He's the face a lot of us know. Nigerians are fans of Nollywood, which is why it's one of the biggest movie industries around the world. And he's paid his dues over time, but as a filmmaker, an actor, and everything around that. I'm joined now by Muyiwa Ademola. Thanks a lot for being here today, sir.
You're most welcome, sir. Good afternoon.
It's our pleasure. How's it going? I can see a name on your shirt, and I think a lot of us came to know you for the first time by that movie, Ori.
Oh, well. Yes,
How was it back then? What made you want to tell that story at the time, before we get to this now?
Well, then, that was 22 years ago.
Yes.
And sincerely speaking, I cannot really say this was the reason why I shot the movie then. But now, I can say why.
You have more clarity on what you want to achieve.
I have to, reshoot the movie.
Yeah.
Like I keep telling people, for over 20 years, Ori as a movie is just one film that whenever I step out of my house, people always talk about it.
Yeah.
They will always, tell me, Muyiwa, reshoot the movie, remake the movie, do something about the film. And, at a point I was thinking about, making it into a novel. But, 20 years after, the movie was shot 2 years ago. So I decided to reshoot the film because Ori is just a very heavy concept.
Yeah.
So heavy.
We'll come back to Ori at the end of this and the rebirth of Ori and all of that. But you talked about, the reactions you get for the original one. And I wonder, do you feel like Nollywood still has that feeling, evokes that feeling from people? Because there's this talk about, when Nollywood was Nollywood, old Nollywood, Do you think people still get that feeling that we got from 20-something years ago from all these movies?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think Ori Rebirth is actually redefining that. That's what people feel. Like, okay, you don't feel all those, things we feel then. And it's the truth. But if you have seen, the reviews from Ori Rebirth, people have been going to the cinema houses to cry, to pray, to do, sort of things and send me messages and all that. I am still telling you that we still have it, original stories. And that is one of our strengths.
That's why the industry became what it became.
Yes.
Very
and
true.
We must, most times I tell my people, let's stay at that originality. Let's tell our stories in our own way, that authentic way, just like my name, and that's what I've done with Ori Rebirth.
Yeah. Before we move on, you talked about, the originality there, and I just wanted to touch on the AMVCAs which held last night, the African Magic Viewers' Choice Awards. And, it tries to reward originality and, help filmmakers, be celebrated. I don't know if you were part of the event or you watched. What did you think of it and some of the winners?
Oh, of course. It's it's quite amazing and it's becoming more interesting. And I must tell you that AMVCA has helped to actually,
elevate
up the game. Yes, everybody wants to put their productions there, let their project go there and be rewarded. And it's amazing to see my brothers, my friends, my colleagues in the industry, people like Femi Adebayo, Lateef Adedimeji, and a whole lot of them, Akim was on Ori as well as the makeup artist. And he won. He has been winning back-to-back for like 7 years now. So a whole lot of them won, Messi Aigbe. It's amazing. It's amazing. And, as a filmmaker, then you begin to feel like, I think I want to be there too.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful.
You've been in this industry for quite a while now, and we've seen all the evolutions of, from the home video era to DVDs, and then, of course, cinemas came in, and then streaming came in. Now the streaming platforms are a little shaky. All of a sudden, YouTube is now the platform, And, of course, generations have changed. The Gen Zs control entertainment now, consumption, whether we like it or not. They are the ones who are the largest number of population in the country.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know what your reaction or what you get from young people, whether it's the actors or those who just consume. And this YouTube effect that has become the norm now, what your thoughts are on that?
You see, the Gen Zs, we have to do something that is appealing to them. And I remember when I was talking to people about Ori, that I want a rebirth. So people feel, would the Gen Zs understand it? Will they love it? And I'm like, okay, let's give it a try. And they are in love. I mean, already, you know, I started seeing 17, 18, 19-year-old, you know, boys and girls weeping, sending me messages about the film. So that means they can key into all those topics and concepts we think are too huge for them to understand. They can't key into it. And it's always like a metamorphosis, you know, moving from one stage to another, you know, from stage to TV. TV has always been there, though, from TV to VCD to DVD, streaming platforms, and okay, YouTube is part of those streaming platforms as well. You know, different modalities, you know, different ways of operations and all that. And our, you know, darling Netflix and you know, Prime, well, they will still be around.
Yeah.
And a whole lot are still coming because we have that huge population in Nigeria, in the whole of Africa. You know, we have people that can consume what we do. So we shouldn't be scared. It's just like, you know, it can be shaky now. It's going to get better.
Yeah.
You know, and it's fine. YouTube is doing very well.
Do you think YouTube is a sign of progress or regression? Because it looks like we're just trying to adapt to what's available now. Do you see it as progress?
Well, it can be both, depending on what we put there.
Sorry, we're just seeing shots of your... but go on.
Thank you. You know, sincerely speaking, it depends on what you put in there. You know, it's like, you know, garbage in, garbage out. If you put in something like, I mean, people are making a whole lot of money on YouTube. You have some people that say, okay, I'm telling you, I'm not coming to your cinema. Let me stay on YouTube. Let me just put my products in. And they are doing very well.
Yeah.
You know, and some are putting things that are not too good, you know, to see. And, well, they repeat. I think YouTube is cool.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Very well said. I mean, where we are in industry now, the argument will always be, you know, are we where we're supposed to be? Do you think we're at a point where do you really still call Nollywood a baby at this stage? I mean, compared to other industries, yes, it is, but we've come quite a way. I mean, it's been almost 4 decades now since the movie industry or the home video industry, like we knew it at the time, sort of started. We look at what's happening in the South Koreas, you know, all of these places that we thought were smaller markets and how they've burst into the world. What should we be doing differently, if anything, to get that sort of recognition? I mean, we've tried a few times to submit at the Oscars. I mean, nobody's saying we need their validation. But for the world to respect us on the level that we know we should be. Because the stories are there, like you said.
Yes.
So is it a technical problem? What needs to come to fix, you know, this jigsaw puzzle?
You see, it's a very big industry. And I'm telling you, government needs to do better. Like Ori is a product of, you know, sheer perseverance, you know,
personal,
pleasure, and it's a personal project. The producer, the
these are things that don't happen in any other place.
You know,
yeah.
But over there, you have your concept, put it together, you know, put it out there, you get funding. But here it's so stressful. You know, it's always like, you know, I have to come to Ebuka has to take me to somebody, you know, somebody has to go to another person, you know. And most times, work of arts, you don't get it doctored. You know, you don't need that pressure to really put it out there. I think for us to be on that scale, like, you know, those people that who've been there for, I've been around for over 35 years. You understand? And I mean, when I got there, I knew a whole lot of industry that were still babies. But now, they're up there. So we need something from the government. Government needs to enable a lot of parastatals and agencies to be interested in the industry. We need funding, we need grants, you know, we need more cinemas, you know, like, you know, big cities should have few more cinemas. We need a whole lot of community cinemas and things that can encourage people, you know, to put their money into making films when they are so sure, you know, the profit is coming. Here it's a whole lot of stress. Like, you can look at my face now. I can't remember the last time I closed my eyes. I'm telling you. So, you know, we need a whole lot of process that will make this thing easier. You know, investors should come in, government should encourage, enable, the environment, do more for the industry, and let investors come in.
Yeah. I mean, the economy has also affected a lot of this, let's be honest.
Yes.
Because you mentioned cinema there, and I know back in the day when the cinemas opened, you go with 500 naira, maybe with your student ID. They even give you free popcorn on top of
we
it.
still have that, though.
But now, I mean, if a young man wants to carry his girlfriend to the cinema now, he's talking of a budget that can make him soup at home. And he now thinks of his priority,
You can have 20,000 naira. So.
I mean, we've seen, especially post-pandemic, we've seen a decline in, do you think it's an economy thing? Do you think young people are just not as into Nollywood as we were back in the day?
A whole lot of things, lot of process. Things are changing. Like, okay, during our days, the major means of entertainment has always been TV, stage drama.
Yeah,
and that's
you had to go somewhere to.
But now you can stay in your room, be with your phone and be entertained. You can be there from morning to night without even watching any film. There are a whole lot of, apps that, will make you laugh.
So you're not just competing with, competing with apps.
I'm telling you, it's a whole lot of a big process, and attention needs to be paid to the fact that things are changing.
Yeah.
What interests you and I then do not interest them now. So we just need to key into their process. We need to tap into their world. If we still want to stay there, we need to go into their world, take our own things. Like I keep telling people, like, okay, or we knock the doors of their heart, go in and talk to their soul. That is just it.
Yeah, a marketer too.
Because without doing that, they are the highest consumer.
Yes.
And if they don't touch what you do, I mean, that would be an issue.
Before we just wrap up with Ori Rebirth, you've been in industry, like you said, over 30 years.
Over 35 years.
Over 35 years.
Yes.
What is the secret to that? Because you have a lot of people who want to do this. They come in, they see how hard it is. It's easy to give up, right? So what has kept you going? And, if a young person comes to meet you to say, okay, this is what I want to do for life.
Well, sincerely speaking, when we started, we weren't thinking about making profits. It's just like a natural gift deposited in us, and we just want the whole world to see that, okay, I have this gift. That was how we started. So, along the way, then it becomes, a business, and we have to make ends meet. I don't know if we can still say it, but if you are coming in, you need to think less of how much.
You have to love it.
Yes. Like I tell people, I love the job I do, and the job I do loves me. You need to come in and, you shouldn't begin to think about, okay, I want to bring this castle, I want to buy these cars, I want to be like a Buka, I want to wear clothes like Buka. You need to calm down, take one step at a time, because it will take a lot. There are challenges. Even on this movie, there are a lot of challenges, you understand? So for you to stay around 10 years, 20, 30, 35, you need to think,
and
take
think
things
long,
easy.
Not immediate. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's quickly wrap up now with Ori the Rebirth. I mean, I can see the cast on your chest, for example.
Yes.
You made a movie that's over 20 years old, I believe.
Yes, 20. He's not 22 years old.
22 years old. So you have to modernize it. You have to make the storyline a little more relatable. How did that process go through, and why were these cast members your picks?
Well, thank you. Like I keep saying it, writing stories has been my major gift, and so it's so easy for me to walk around something I've done 22 years ago, interwoven it with this story, this new story, the old one, and people that have seen it. Yeah, I mean, you hear the testimonies from them, and it's been so amazing. And of course, the cast: Chalachubo Ale, Toyin, Ademola, Ibrahim Chata, Femi Adebayo, a whole lot of them, Latif, Adedimeji, among me that taken from this generation, the older generation, the generation after, and all that. And the story resonates with every living individual, even with every race. It's something everybody will believe. It's something everybody will key into. Yeah. And that's why, I mean, it's been very massive at the cinemas. The first day we did the advanced screening, it became the highest, grossed, cinema. You understand, in advanced screening in the history of filmmaking in Nigeria, or cinema in Nigeria rather. So that should be a very good testimony of what I am talking about. People love it already. Yeah. People are watching it. They are consuming it.
Where can we see it?
Everywhere.
It's everywhere in cinema.
Everywhere. Like, in fact, like I'm leaving now, I'm going to ICM. Okay. And people should come to ICM to see me. It's everywhere, and people are watching it. Even non-speaking Yoruba people, because it's a well-subtitled production. So non-speaking Yoruba people are watching. It's for everybody. I mean, it's for everybody.
On a final note, before you go, as quickly as you can, I just want to know what you feel about the future of Nollywood. You know, like I said, the cinemas are not as affordable for a lot of people anymore. Maybe it's the economy. Streaming platforms are pulling back funding. You know, like you said, we don't have those big studios that fund projects. So the money coming in, are you worried?
I am worried. I'm worried, like, one, I think stylishly, if you are not careful, we'll lose our originality. And we cannot tell Hollywood stories in Nollywood, because Hollywood are not telling Nollywood stories in Hollywood. Yeah. Bollywood are not telling Nollywood story, neither are they telling Hollywood stories. So let's tell our stories. Let's maintain that originality. I think that will attract more people. You know, during our days, there are so many things a movie will do for you. It will educate you, it will enlighten you, it will, change the way you perceive a whole lot of things. But now, it's all about entertainment. But it's more than that. If you go back to that, we'll attract more investors, and boom, we'll keep going. But if not, it's shaky.
Thank you very much, Muyiwa, Ademola. Nollywood has gone through turbulent times and they've survived. So I believe we'll get through this and come out the better for it.
Yeah, because
and like you said, Rebirth is in cinemas across the country, so make sure you check it out and support Nollywood and enjoy the best of filmmaking as well while you're doing that. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks so much. We'll take it.